All right, so the other way to ensure that you're creating a supportive classroom environment is making sure that you're making that you are creating a mutually respectful and supportive relationship between both you and your students, you and your students' parents. And that requires having clear and open communication and making sure the parents know that they can come to you for whatever they want, as well as the students. So another thing that helps create a supportive classroom environment is allowing your students frequent opportunities for collaboration. So really incorporating group projects and opportunities that students can work together throughout their lesson to really learn what it feels like and what it looks like to have their voices heard between their peers. And then frequent opportunities for student voice is really a foundational piece of SEL, and that can be done through creating shared classroom agreements as well as coming up with conflict resolutions that works for your classroom community. And I'm actually going to show a video on the next slide about what this looks like, and just keep in mind how this teacher is choosing to greet her students in the morning and what just a simple greeting can do for the students in the long run. So by this teacher doing Tums at the door, she is starting every day off by acknowledging these students and making them feel important, making them feel a part of the school and academic community. And as she says, it's quick, easy, and efficient. And that is really what we want to show throughout this webinar, is that SEL can be incorporated in the smallest ways and really make a huge impact. So I'm gonna move this quick. So now another way to create a supportive classroom environment is ensuring that you are establishing classroom norms. And this is done through explicit instruction. So thinking back to the school-wide matrix, where you have your 3 to 5 positively stated expectations that all students throughout the school are expected to follow, you also have that within your classroom. And the same thing goes. When you are teaching these expectations, you're going to model them to the students. Tell the students why it's important. So just looking at the example for the be safe expectations, not only do you do Kai Foodie, but if you take a SEL twist on this expectation, you're going to teach students how to tell an adult when you're feeling worried about a friend. And that just doesn't come naturally. It does need to be modeled. Teachers need to explain why this is important, and then provide students opportunities to role play this. What does it look like? How can the teacher coach students through this? And then again, giving specific feedback. When you do see a student telling an adult when they're worried about a friend. So constantly reinforcing your classroom expectations, especially when they are aligned with social and emotional learning goals. Another way to create a supportive classroom environment is not just to focus on the emotional side of it, but also on the physical side of it. And as a birth consultant, Morgan and I have been into so many of your classrooms where you really do a fabulous job of creating a positive physical space for your students. So just some ways, maybe you don't have these and you want to incorporate this into your room, but some really great things to think about is having a class meeting spot. For younger students, that might look like having an area on the carpet that everyone can come together and meet. And maybe for older students, it looks like just having a spot away from your desks where there's enough room for all of the students to stand and maybe participate in a group activity. You want to be sure to always have student work displayed on a bulletin board. Again, this is a great way for students to see that you care, that their work matters, that the effort that they're putting in is really paying off, and to be acknowledged by not only having their teachers see their work, themselves see their work, but also their peers see what they've accomplished. Putting your students in charge of a classroom library. So you're giving them a job, you're giving them a purpose, and it just feels more welcoming to have a library, and you're also encouraging more academic reading, which is never a bad thing. A cool down space. This is something that Granite School District does a fabulous job incorporating into your classrooms. With the cool down space, you're giving students an opportunity to step away from the class if they are starting to feel upset or anxious or just like need a minute to collect themselves and cool down. This is an incredibly beneficial tool to have in your classroom, but the caveat to this is that, again, it needs to be explicitly taught. Students need to know why they would like to go to the cool down corner, how to use the cool down corner effectively, what strategies can they use to actually calm down. And when is it appropriate to return to the class and then become more engaged in the activity again. And then the last thing that you can do is to ensure that you're hanging images around your classroom that promote a diverse classroom community.
Awesome. And then Alex mentioned earlier that she mentioned classroom shared agreements were another way that you could create a supportive classroom environment. And really, these are pretty simple. It's basically helping the classroom to feel more safe, inclusive, and equitable to everyone. And so what happens is the students together, they brainstorm ideas for how they want to be treated by others and how they would like to treat other students in their classroom. And so they do lots of brainstorming, and then you come together and you narrow it down and choose the rules. They choose the rules that they're going to follow. And then you create this poster, and each of the kids signs it as a contract of the expectations that they're going to have for each other. And then it's posted somewhere in the classroom that everyone can see it. And then it's something that can be used for reflection and reference throughout the rest of the year. But what's really cool about this is it's not the teacher telling the students what to do. The students themselves are being empowered because they are making their own rules about how they want to treat others and how they want to build that community together. And so they also are signing it, and they hold themselves accountable to it through the rest of the year. So it's a really awesome way to help build supportive classroom environment. And we're going to look at another way next. So a morning meeting is something that a lot of you already are doing, some kind of group meeting throughout the day. And so in these morning meetings, a lot of times this is a way you could set it up to help it be more effective in creating a supportive classroom environment. So it could start with a greeting. It could be something normal, or it could be something fun that the kids make up themselves, but something that they greet each other by name. And then there's an opportunity for sharing. And this is really important because when kids are so focused on work and stuff throughout the day, they don't always get a lot of opportunities to really get to know each other on a personal level. And so this is a chance to share some exciting news that they have going on in their lives or any information about themselves. And then it gives the other students an opportunity to respond to that student in a positive way, to just really build support and to build the relationships between the students. And then there can be some kind of group activity that helps them bond. This could be something the teacher comes up with. It could be a mini SEL lesson, whatever the teacher would like to use it for that day. And then also the morning message. This could be simply just going over the schedule for the day and what the expectations are. So again, you're already doing these morning meetings, and so this is just something super easy. And we're going to take a quick look at this video of an example of one teacher, how she's using community meetings in her classroom. So as the teacher kind of mentioned, these meetings really are an awesome opportunity for the students to, for every student's voice to be heard, for them to bond and really support each other so that there's a supportive classroom environment for all students.